Last week, Giz UK went to Tokyo for the launch of the brand new Nissan Leaf. It's an interesting time for electric vehicles, with Tesla heating up the market and all the big manufacturers eyeing a piece of the pie. The Leaf is currently the biggest selling all-electric car in the world, and the new version offers a boosted battery, 40 kWh, longer range, 235 miles according to the NEDC, but only 150 per EPA, and some interesting innovations including automated parking and a V2G system to give energy back to the grid. We got some close-up time in the new Leaf to experience its new one-finger parking tech, ProPilot Park. Here's what we found out. 1. It's like having your car parked by a ghost. ProPilot Park is a bit scary as a proposition. You sit in the driver's seat and push a button, and the car figures out where it's supposed to go and goes there. If you've read about automated disasters like the tragic Tesla death caused by the car mistaking a white lorry for bright sky, you might be understandably nervous about entrusting your Leaf and your life to a single button. However, unlike on the Tesla Model S, ProPilot Park isn't a hands-free kind of deal. You have to hold the button down the entire time. If you panic and take your finger off, the car stops immediately. And if someone walks in front of or behind the car, it stops too, even if you're still holding the button down. You sadist. 2. It doesn't like shiny things. The ProPilot Park demos were staged in a conference hall with pretend parking bays marked out on a very reflective floor, and blinding blue lights beating down. This environment confused the Leaf's camera. It was still able to park accurately in some scenarios, but couldn't complete the parallel parking task the first time round. The Leaf uniquely uses a combination of radar and camera inputs to navigate, which explains why it wasn't completely scuppered, but we were still concerned. Real-world road conditions are far from perfect and might include such obstacles as super shiny wet roads. We're from the UK, after all. So after our second demo, where the inputs had been tweaked and the demo worked flawlessly, we sat down with Gareth Dunsmore, Electric Vehicle Director for Nissan Europe, and Nicholas Thomas, Global EV Director, to discuss our observations. They told us new Leaf owners are unlikely to encounter these sorts of problems in the wild. It's a very artificial environment here with all the bright lights. It's causing us a couple of minor issues with the camera, says Nicholas. I've tested it a great deal in the real world and I can assure you it works very well. What about multi-story car parks? They have shiny floors. Would we have problems there too? If you have enormous spotlights on a very shiny floor in a multi-story car park, yes, but usually you don't. True. Our local one is dangerously dark if anything. We've tested this outside, in underground car parks. It's being tested in different places in Europe and tuned. The local technical center in Cranfield, they'll take the car now to Europe, and work on it before the launch in January, Gareth assures us. Presumably, Nissan will take note of the issues at the launch and feed that info into the final product. But it's fair to say you're unlikely to find lighting like this in the real world. 3. It parks better than radar-only systems. The combo of radar and camera is important for a flawless auto park experience, apparently. If you've got two spaces side by side and you've got a radar-based system, it will park right in the middle of them, across the middle line, says Nicholas. Or if you're parallel parking and there are 3 or 4 spaces, it'll park exactly in the middle. While that sounds kind of adorable in a robot logic sort of way, it's not very helpful. So the Leaf system is designed to be better. ProPilot Park combines both the radar and the camera to spot the white lines. So the radar is always working to guide the vehicle, but then the camera's spotting the lines and parking you exactly in the middle. 4. But doesn't require marked parking bays. That's all cool, but it's pretty rare to find pristine white lines out in the real world. Round our neck of the woods, you're lucky if the spaces are marked at all, and the ones that are can be a fuzzy palimpsest of old markings, worn-out paint and graffiti. Because it's got both the radar and the camera, it can adapt to whatever scenario there is, Nicholas assured us. We found it also came in handy having the around view monitor on during auto parking, an overview of the environment around the car taken from 4 live camera feeds. You can see exactly where you're going and correct if necessary. It's all about the cameras, this car. 5. It's gonna cost you, but you might get some back. Predictably, given that we haven't even had a UK price for the new Nissan Leaf yet, the reps weren't keen to answer our questions about pricing for ProPilot Park. However, we do know that it's an add-on rather than coming standard with the Leaf, and that ProPilot and Park can be bought individually. We did get confirmed figures for one thing, the amount of money you can expect to make from your Leaf if you use it for Vehicle to Grid, V2G. That's the system that lets the hooked-up car send power to the grid, and money to your wallet. A commercially viable pilot scheme in Denmark has Leaf drivers making €100 to €160 a month from their cars, minus fees from the power scheme they're part of. Taking the lower figure and assuming a 20% cut, that's about £70 a month at a rough conservative estimate. If you have a time-based power tariff like Economy 7, you could theoretically charge the car at off-peak times for less, and sell the power back at higher prices. And if you pulled that off successfully, V2G could conceivably even cover your monthly car payments. Yes, we're most likely in fantasy land, but what's car tech for if not to give us electric dreams?
Nissan's new Leaf is the updated version of one of the pioneers of the modern all-electric consumer car, and the change is a promising one. The new vehicle offers 150 miles of range based on EPA estimates, which is a lot more than its predecessor at 107 miles, if off a bit when compared to other modern EVs like the Chevrolet Bolt. For Nissan, it's being positioned as the first EV that isn't an EV first, it's just a car, in other words, like any other, but it happens to have a fully electric drivetrain. The company also rethought the look and feel of the vehicle, again bringing in some more conventional, attractive lines versus the bubble-like geometry of the last model. Inside, it's a more spacious vehicle, with a lot of cargo and passenger capacity for everyday use. The battery also charges faster, and can build up as much as 22 miles of range in just an hour of charging when connected to a 240V source. Nissan has also brought a lot of advanced tech features to the vehicle, including Android Auto, CarPlay and more. It has ProPilot Assist too, and is the first Nissan in the US to offer the advanced driving assist features, which include maintaining speed, lane keeping and even full braking in highway driving. Nissan is also promoting its Leaf to Home power system, which is coming to the US for the first time, and which allows houses to draw energy back from the car, letting it act as a sort of backup battery for any emergency outages or other use. Starting at $29,990 in the US for the base model, the 2018 Leaf is also a bit less expensive than the 2017, which is impressive considering how much more they put into the car. It's definitely an attractive car, and one with a lot more utilitarian appeal than Leafs that have come before. Mostly, the remaining question will be whether Nissan has done enough to make it a vehicle with more mainstream appeal.
Somehow, the Nissan Leaf has been the best-selling electric car in North America since its introduction in 2010. That's a surprise because of its atrocious looks. I mean, you have to tint the windows limo dark just so you won't be seen inside it. But the all-new 2018 Nissan Leaf has been announced now. It has updated technology and range. But the true question is this: do the updated tweaks to its exterior do anything for its appearance? The 2018 Nissan Leaf looks 1000x better. Electric car buyers, rejoice! The 2018 Nissan Leaf will no longer be an embarrassment to drive. The gaudy, bulgy form from the first-gen Leaf is gone. It's been replaced by a handsome, sleek 5-door hatchback that elicits more affection than apprehension. Nissan's V-Motion grille design is prevalent up front, as are the boomerang lamps. For some reason, every electric car has that blacked-out, solid upper grille design, but on the 2018 Leaf it actually looks like it fits. The worst parts about the current model will be gone. Those ridiculously long, high-mounted, bizarre headlights are sent into the abyss, as is the repulsive bubble-shaped liftgate. The tacky futuristic body lines are replaced with elegant, subtle accents here and there. And of course, because it's an electric car, it must have the two-tone blacked-out roof panel with a white paint job, right? Here's a problem, though. The 2018 Nissan Leaf looks like a copy of the Chevrolet Bolt on the outside. It has an established customer base who will likely return for it, but new customers will be drawn to the first on-the-market Bolt EV, which coincidentally, also has a much longer range. The Leaf redesign should have been unveiled 6 months ago. Is the longer range enough? The 2017 and previous Nissan Leaf has a paltry range of just 107 miles on a full charge, and that's in ideal conditions. That means you can't go any further than 50 miles from home, much less if you live in a cold climate, and still return home without a lengthy recharge. It's been improved to a healthy 150 miles with a 40 kilowatt-hours battery, which is more than what 95% of Americans will use in a day. Unfortunately, that range is nowhere near top of the class. The Chevrolet Bolt EV has a rated range of 238 miles and the Tesla Model 3 offers a 220-mile or 310-mile range option. And because car shopping is always a comparison game, the 2018 Nissan Leaf falls short in the electric range category. Improved power. One area that is definitely improved is the 2018 Nissan Leaf's performance. The outgoing model has an 80 kilowatt electric motor, the equivalent of 107 horsepower. To be blunt, it sucks. It gets you where you need to go, but it's not enjoyable. You can't have any fun behind the wheel. The 2018 Leaf has a 110 kilowatt electric motor, equivalent to 147 horsepower and a 236 pounds-ft of torque. Now we're talking about a little more fun behind the wheel. Lay into the accelerator, it's not called the gas pedal, and there's an immediate response that will curl up the edges of your mouth into a smile. Driver assistive technology now included. You've heard about regenerative braking, but the first time you try it, it's still a weird feeling. The 2018 Nissan Leaf uses it in a technology called e-pedal, but it's more than just regenerative braking. Just by varying the pressure on the pedal, you can start, accelerate, decelerate and stop the car. I can imagine that it will take some getting used to. ProPilot Assist is new for Nissan and will be part of the 2018 Leaf platform. It's a hybrid, pardon the term, system that's almost like autonomous driving but with driver input. It's a hands-on system that assists the driver in single-lane highway driving, helping to steer, brake and accelerate. It's much like adaptive cruise control with added steering input. We'll have to see how it works out, though. The driver must maintain pressure on the steering wheel for it to function. That could be more of an annoyance than assistance. A classier interior. It doesn't take much to improve on the outgoing Leaf's interior. It felt like the low-quality plastic that it was. The all-new 2018 Nissan Leaf gets new treatments that include piano black trim on the radio bezel and console, a full-color instrument display, and a 7-inch infotainment touchscreen along with actual buttons, gasp. And that palm-style shifter control that electric cars love to use. It will be available in 3 trims, S, SV and SL. The base Leaf S trim has cloth seating, automatic temperature control and your standard power features. SV trims add 17-inch alloy wheels, intelligent cruise control, a quick charge port, Nissan navigation system, and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The Nissan Leaf SL adds leather seats, Bose premium audio, intelligent surround view monitor, LED headlights, and a few other bits and pieces. Is the 2018 Nissan Leaf worth it? It has its shortcomings. The range could definitely be improved to match other models in the market, and that's probably the biggest detractor for the Leaf. Although the outgoing design was brutal at best, the new design isn't unique enough to pull new buyers in. However, the price point is nothing short of amazing for what you get. The 2018 Nissan Leaf S starts at $23,000 after federal tax credits, and the top-end Leaf SL is reasonable at $28,700 after those same credits. For the technology, the improved range, the enhanced performance and the sharp looks, the Nissan Leaf will probably maintain its top spot in electric car sales.